So today I am going to speak something about the clinical audit and trauma registry and its role in teaching. Everybody knows that clinical audit is a cyclical and systemic review of processes, practices, and outcome of healthcare services against clearly defined evidence-based criteria. Or clinical audit is a critical systemic analysis of the performance of an individual, a team, or an organization's clinical work. Now, as everybody know, it is a very important point that clinical audit always help us in our clinical practice and for the better patient outcome. Goal of a clinical audit: analysis and comparison using accepted standards, performance indicators, and outcome parameters then become an important stimulus in identifying areas for learning and for improvement of patient care. And the ultimate goal is improve clinical practice and better patient outcome. Is everybody agrees with this? Yes, you can go for retrospective studies, and even you can compare this with the standard and you can make your own standard. Okay, so the clinical audit have some stages. The stage 1 is preparing for audit, means mitigation, means what you want to do, you have to prepare for that. In this comes the team building, to know your limitations, and all those things comes under this preparation phase of clinical audit. This is stage 1. The stage 2 is selecting the criteria, means you must select the criterias or the areas you want to do your clinical audit. Okay, and the third stage is measuring the level of performance, and the fourth stage is making improvements, and then fifth is sustaining that improvement. Okay, any confusion in this? Clinical audit is basically a cyclical process. For that, you have to identify the issue, then you have to obtain and define the standards. These standards can be your institutional standards, national standards, or international standards. Then you have to collect the data, go ahead with the standards, then implement the changes, then you can re-audit them, and again if there is some issues you can identify them and you can change your protocol for clinical audits. So it enhances your professional development. How? These clinical audits enable surgeons to benefit from peer review and feedback, and from which they can maintain confidence in their practice abilities. Case study analysis clearly presents what has happened with the patients admitted for care. Possible issues can be identified and alternative practice can be discussed in clinical audit. It enables surgeons the pattern of their practice and their performance, and adjustment can be made to advance professional development, and further this will improve service to the community. So there is a term called clinical governance. Clinical governance is basically advanced form of clinical audit. Means clinical audit is basically done by institutions, but when it is governed or the things are analyzed, these are called basically the clinical governance. So the analysis and compare performance indicator and outcome. Perform in-depth review means the clinical audits which has been done can be reviewed by peer reviewer, not only from your institutes, or it can be done from an outside source also. Means you have done a clinical audit and you can ask someone who is from any institute or from a government who can come and audit your clinical registries. It identifies the ways of improving care and outcome. Naturally, when they will review, they will give some feedbacks and suggestions that will improve the care and outcome. It definitely lower the cost of providing improved patient care and assist in continuing education of surgeons. Continuous organizational improvement can be done through clinical audit, as it highlights potential problems area within an organization. As you know, it involves capturing basic information about day-to-day work of clinical practice in order to look closely, identifying problems, consider and make changes, and monitor progress toward improved patient outcome. Standard compliance means whenever you do an audit, it is always judged with an standard protocol set by an institution or by an organization or by any society. So an audit confirms standards. Means, as you know, you have made an audit and the audits are basically based on any standard, and when you confirm with your audit and the standards you have set, it confirms that your standards are good or the improvements is needed. Many surgical procedures have national and international standards against which the performance can be measured. What I said just before, all the major bodies are strong proponent of clinical audit. Proponent means they are supporter of clinical audit. All the major bodies, like any major organization or society, they accept that clinical audit is a tool which can improve the patient outcome and so on. Many research have been done regarding clinical audits. When you go in the PubMed or any general sites, when you go and search about the clinical audits performance or its value in the current practice, you will see number of papers, and all the papers, none of the paper will say you that clinical audit is worthless. Everybody will say it is worthy and it definitely reflects the outcome of your institution. A trauma registry is a systemic and organized collection of information that documents trauma cases representing a population of patients. Okay, a hospital-based trauma registries are the basis of much of the research and quality assessment work that has informed clinicians and policymakers about methods to optimize the care of injured patients. There is a paper, state-wise trauma registries comparable, but this paper clearly says that still we don't have, means there are no standard protocols has been set yet. Everybody is doing their own registries, they are making their own registries, and because of this or conflict among different trauma registries. Okay, so the actual data points contained in independent hospital registries are often so different in content and structures that comparison across registries are nearly impossible. So we have to work in this field so that we can make a trauma registry which is globally accepted and which can be compared with the other trauma registries. So this is a website of National Injury Surveillance Trauma Registry and Capacity Building Center. It comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It clearly says there is currently no in-hospital trauma registry in the country. Okay, only there is a pilot study which is going on at JPNTC Trauma Center at AIIMS, New Delhi. So what is the aim of trauma registry? The aim of trauma registry to collect, compile, analyze and disseminate injury-related information to the communities and the policymaker for reducing the burden of morbidity and mortality resulting due to injuries and to build capacity quality care to the injury victims. So the objectives of trauma registry are to collect, compile all I just said, coordinate for the training of in the field of trauma care, and to collect information on pre-hospital care given to trauma victims. So what is the need of the hour? Creation of a nodal trauma registries at various trauma centers, networking of all the trauma registries, regional trauma bank or national trauma bank can be made. So how you are going to plan your trauma registry? For this, you must have a purpose for the registry, and you know, and everybody knows that there is a purpose for registry, that ultimate goal is improve patient care and to bring down the burden in the society. So your planning should develop an appropriate mean to achieve this purpose. You must identify the stakeholders, assess the feasibility of the registry. So when you assess that now you are going to make a trauma registry, how you will go ahead? For this you have to build a registry team, then establish a governance and oversight plan, means you have to make a plan how you are going to go ahead. Now we have to define the data sets, means what data you are going to enter in that, and those data entry sets should be globally accepted, and what I said before, it should be comparable with the other trauma registries available across the globe. So you must define the data set, patient outcomes and target population. You must develop a study plan or protocol, and you must develop a project plan. So once the registry is made, हम लोग registry suppose बना लिए, then recognize the importance of periodic critical evaluation of the registry. Means you must sit together and you must emphasize its importance, and you must evaluate your registry periodically. And periodic meeting, for that you have to do periodic meeting of stakeholders to ensure that the objectives are being met. When the registry objectives are no longer being met, means suppose there is some protocol that ऐसा patient आएगा तो ऐसा करेंगे, लेकिन new standards have changed. Now what you will do, you have to make changes in the registry or you have to modify your registry. So registries may undergo a transition or ceases collecting all the new data for many reasons. So after you planned that you want to make a trauma registry, then you made a trauma registry, then you modified it and to the circumstances. So what will be your outputs? Your level of registry engagement should be more, कि कितना तुम्हारा लेवल कितना यूज हो रहा है और रजिस्ट्री कोई काम आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा, वो पता चलेगा. ठीक है. Number of published research articles using your trauma registry, the rate of published research using registry data, development of evidence-based care guidelines. Is your trauma registry is guiding for any evidence-based care? Yes or not? If yes, then it's good. If no, then it's not good. Trackable improvement outcomes from the compliance with evidence-based guidelines, and volume and type of data that can be repackaged or commercialized for industry. मतलब कि तुम्हारा डाटा जो है वो सिर्फ तुम्हारा ही नहीं, ये पूरा ग्लोबली ये होना चाहिए, क्या बोलते हैं इसको, तुम रीपैकेज करके रीडिफाइन करके उसको तुम यू कैन शेयर विथ अदर्स और यू कैन कमर्शियल. So role of audit and registry in teaching. Naturally it helps in medical education, nurses education, clinical skills. Means suppose you are doing a wrong clinical skill, or a better clinical skill than a global standard. So when you compare your trauma registry or clinical audit with the gold standard, you can improve in your clinical skills. Or if you have an improved clinical skill, you can publish them and the gold standards can be changed globally. In the same way, medical device trainers can be modified according to the registry, and practice development teams can be taught regarding the clinical audit and other clinical registries. So there is a paper called Perception of Medical Graduates and Their Workplace Supervisor Toward a Medical School Clinical Audit Program. So in this, they have done a nutshell practice that if we will teach the clinical audit with our residents or the medical students, is there any improvement comes in them or not? And they have seen that there is a dramatical improvement in their medical students. So the clinical audits can also be used as a teaching method for medical interns as well as residents. They can help them achieve important competencies such as the acquisition of interpersonal and communication skills, the effective participation in healthcare team, the identification of problem in the ward's daily operations. So what are the goals? The goals are the understanding of the audit concept and audit cycle, the improvement of interpersonal communication skills I just said before, the preparation of oral presentation. Naturally, if they will present the clinical audit, their oral presentation will be better. The build up of teaching experience by teaching medical students the concept of clinical audit, and the acquisition of extra knowledge in the medical audit. Thanks everyone. If anybody have any questions, please share.